Hey guys, welcome in. I hope you all are doing all right. My name is Brianna, and this is going to be a really quick energetic astrological update for the next couple of days. I will be incorporating some of the current astrology as well as using a combination of both tarot and oracle cards, which I have already pulled out here on the table, you guys. And I will say that there is a message here. It's less of a message and more of like a call to action. There is this call to shift into this soft energy, soften, move into like this graceful, gentle, maybe even compassionate energy. The reason for this call is because there is a lot going on energetically. The energy, especially coming off of the Aquarius full moon, the energy has been very tense, right? And to avoid getting our sovereign energy mixed up, swept up in this intense energy, Spirit is asking us to be tender, right? To soften. One of the first cards that came out is the deer. I don't know if you guys can see that, but the deer talks about being graceful, right? Being very gentle, being compassionate. In the deck, this card talks about the deer being a new mother, right? And within those first few weeks, the deer is very present, very tender, very nurturing to her new baby, right? So this new life that has just been born is fragile, right? And maybe this new life is you, or maybe this new life is this new reality, because I am seeing the Bardo here as well. The Bardo talks about being in transition, right? In between realms, or transitioning from one reality into a new reality. This happens with our consciousness first, right? Our consciousness goes first, and then our reality follows. So it may be a call to soften as we pass through this birth canal. Soften. Don't tense. Don't tense. I'm getting like in labor, there are times when we need to push and tighten, tense, and then there are times when we need to rest, right? And allow nature to do what it does. A new life is being birthed in this energy, and Spirit is calling us or asking us to soften, right? Allow, be gentle. It could be the reason that I just explained, right? We're moving through this transition, and there is a lot of chaos and friction and just like conflict around us. So that we don't get our energies mixed up in the conflict, we establish this line of demarcation, right? Your energy, my energy is completely different from the energies that are swirling around, right? My energy is soft and gentle, right? My energy is receptive and going with the flow. And these other energies, whatever they may be, there is a karmic message down here at the bottom of the table, a message about a karmic soulmate, this karmic loop that keeps attempting to loop around and reattach, loop around and reattach. It could be that energy that is producing the tension, right? There's a message here about, I feel like there is more data, right? More data waiting to be received. Okay, maybe this is why Spirit is asking us to soften, right? There is like a next step. In my last reading, I was talking about how our next steps are being co-created as we make these choices, right? We are co-creating our next steps as we move forward. So our next steps, the next step is wanting to be downloaded, right? And in order for us to receive this data, this psychic information, we have to soften, right? The hummingbird is here talking about this high vibrational energy, a high vibrational well of positive energy. This energy is going to rejuvenate and replenish you, help you heal or transmute some sort of emotional turmoil, or help you move your emotional energy into a healthy current through some sort of information, right? This is like shamanistic healing practice, shamanistic wisdom. Your higher self, your spirit guides, your team, they're trying to communicate some sort of energy with you, some sort of positive energy that's going to help you, maybe help you soften, right? Help you move into like this gentle flowing energy. If you are tense, maybe you are tense, right? Because here's the shark. Here's the shark. The shark talks about someone, something, an energy, a person, an entity lurking, watching, swarming, or circling you, creating this like tension, right? Creating this anxiety. So, maybe there is someone around you. As I mentioned, we have the karmic soulmate card here. There is someone around you, possibly kicking up a lot of chaos, making you feel tense, like closed, tight. But Spirit wants you to open to receive whatever this high vibrational data is, right? This high vibrational data is going to help you soften. And softening is essential for the next phase of our transition, right? Remember I mentioned we have the bardo here. The bardo is giving like this birth canal, and we don't want to be tense moving through this transition. We want to be soft, we want to be gentle so that things flow easily and smoothly, right? I just want to point out how this shark is focused on this stingray. If you guys can see, the stingray has its chakras lit up, right? This shark, whatever this aggressive energy is, it's focused on your chakras. Your chakras. This could be like focused on your auric field, your electromagnetic field. You guys remember that our manifestations respond directly to the state and quality of our nervous system, right? A calm nervous system gets the wheel turning. I have the empath card here. The empath is an energetic transducer, right? An empath is someone who converts energy from one form to another. But in order for them to do this work, their subtle energy body and their chakras have to be completely open, right? So their auric field and their chakras are like sponges. They absorb vibrations, psychic data, and energy from the people around them, the environments they're in, and nature, right? So it's important for empaths or highly sensitive beings to establish like these sovereign boundaries or master energetic hygiene, because when we're in these types of situations and environments, if we're not aware about our empathetic abilities, or if we're not aware of how easily we absorb other people's energy, someone, the shark, just being around you, producing this aggressive energy will affect your chakras, right? And perhaps even get you to close up, tense up. I'm kind of feeling like this shark is, I want to say intentionally, maybe, who knows if it's intentional or not. The only thing that matters is that your chakra system is a target for this shark, whoever, whatever it is. We've got the owl slipping out from the back of the deck. The owl is coming through talking about ancient wisdom, ancient healing practice, an ancient healing practice. This is going back to that like shamanistic healing practice that I was talking about during the beginning of the reading. And I know that sounds like kind of big and out there, shamanistic healing practice, but what it actually is, it's healing from the inside out. It's becoming aware of your shadow energies or your unconscious energies, and how those energies, the energies within you, are responding and reacting to external stressors, right? Shamanistic healing practice, healing from within, becoming aware of how your internal energies are reacting to external stressors and transforming that, right? We have some cards down here which are talking about being in something to heal something, being in it to heal it, in it to heal it. Okay, let's get into some of the astrology, you guys. We have the moon in Pisces. The moon is in Pisces right now. In Pisces, the moon in Pisces is the high priestess in the tarot. The high priestess governs our 12th house, right? The house of the unconscious. This is the area of our lives, right? The unconscious, how can I say this? The 12th house, the house of the unconscious. It's the house that stores our behind the scenes stuff, right? It's like those hidden struggles that test our soul. It's like, some people call it the house of hidden enemies, but I feel like these hidden enemies have a lot to do with internal struggles, right? If we're looking at this in terms of like shamanistic healing, it's going to be focusing on like those internal struggles, unconscious patterns, self-sabotaging behaviors, right? Like addiction, self-undoing, and escapism. The 12th house is also a house of like karmic debt, right? Like past life stuff, past life issues, past life people, and past life patterns that hinder our progress. So when the moon is in Pisces, we sink into this, let's call it a sanctuary, right? This behind the scenes sanctuary, high priestess energy. We're not afraid of the dark, right? We take this time to descend. We can call it a descension, right? We take this time to descend into our own internal shadow realm to dissolve maybe karmic patterns, or to see, to uncover something, to make a choice. There's something here I feel like you know what it is because it's very loud, right? It's very shark energy, very aggressive. It's not subtle at all. If this is a person, you know who it is. If this is an experience, you know what it is, right? If this is a location that makes you feel tense, an environment, you know exactly where it is, because the full moon in Aquarius, it like amplified, intensified these energies so that we could see them very clearly, right? So I feel like now we're being asked to soften, to see, right? High Priestess, Moon in Pisces, and then make a choice. We have the King of Swords here. The King of Swords talks about insight in action. So if the moon is in Pisces, High Priestess is gaining insight as to what's behind the scenes. The King of Swords does something with that information. We also have the Judge here, the Judge and the Offering. We have the Judge and the Justice card. These two are one and the same, the Judge and the Justice. So after the King of Swords came the Justice card. The Judge talks about right action, right? Making a choice without fear, making a choice without fear, making the right choice for yourself, advocating for yourself, doing what's right for yourself, standing up for yourself, having compassion for yourself. I'm getting like, I don't care who misses me. I don't care who misses me, because there is this karmic soulmate, right? Karmic soulmate and I miss you. You guys can't see that. This card says karmic soulmate. This card says I miss you. So maybe in the past you did make a choice to move away from this karmic soulmate. Even if the karmic soulmate is an internal pattern, right? Even if the karmic soulmate is an environment, right? You made a choice to move away from this karmic situation. The cycle will keep looping, right? Keep coming back around to test us, to try us, right? And going back to that stingray energy, it's like our dharma, like each time we make a new choice, it's like building a spine, right? Our dharma builds up until it reaches a point where reality shifts, right? Each choice is like another deposit into our dharmic beginning, right? Until it reaches a point where reality finally shifts. But within that time, oh, sorry guys. Within that time, these karmic situations will keep coming back around to test us, right? And maybe each time getting more and more intense, overstepping boundaries more and more, just trying to dissolve that boundary, very aggressive, right? Trying to dissolve your boundary. So, doing what's right for you is like, I don't care who misses me, right? I miss you. I don't care who misses me. I have to do this for myself. I have to make this choice for myself, right? So, guys, the moon is in Pisces, asking us to soften, to retreat, right? Retreat into our inner sanctuary to resolve, dissolve, maybe make a choice that liberates us, a choice that, this choice, your intuition is correct. We have that card here. Your intuition is correct. I feel like you already know. Your intuition is telling you what choices need to be made. Making this choice will help dissolve some sort of tension. There's like a tight, tense energy. Maybe you need to go out in nature. This card here, going back to the deer, right? The deer talks about how when it's out of balance, it's like we've seen a frantic deer, right? Frantic, concerned, anxious, right? Afraid. When it's out of balance, to bring this energy back into balance. Okay, hold on, let me back up. When this energy, your deer energy, is out of balance, it's frantic, concerned, afraid, anxious, and that may be being triggered by whoever this shark energy is, right? To bring your deer energy into balance, you want to go out in nature, right? I had to do this for myself yesterday because I felt like negativity was like consuming me, not my negativity, not my toxicity, not my karmic energies. It's just the energies that are around me. And like I talked about with that empath card, right? My aura, my chakras are like a sponge, right? So I had to go and sit in the grass and dump, dump, offload, give the energy back to the earth, right? Because it was not mine to begin with. And after that, after I did that, I felt more of this energy here, right? This hummingbird energy. Remember that the hummingbird energy is high vibrational. It's like potent high vibrational energy. We can even look at it as a state of, remember how I talked about the moon in Pisces was a period of descension. Hummingbird energy is going to be ascension, right? It's like we've sorted out what we needed to sort out in the moon, and now we ascend. And soon after that, right, once I was in this hummingbird state, or once we reach this hummingbird state, there is some sort of communication that will come in, right? This emotional communication. We have the Ace of Cups here. The Ace of Cups talks about clear emotion, renewal, and purity. But okay, let's go back to the astrology. The moon in Pisces is making a trine to Mercury in Cancer, right? The moon in Pisces is making a trine to Mercury in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer is the Three of Cups in the tarot. The Three of Cups talks about harmonious emotional communication, right? So once we embody this hummingbird state, right, we descend to rewire, recode, dissolve, and then we ascend to gain the next steps, right? The next marching orders, psychic data from our higher selves. And this data, right, this emotional communication will come in through our emotions, right? We'll feel it. And this feeling will move us in a certain direction. But it comes in once we have this clean cup, right? This purified emotional frequency, which is also giving me that hummingbird energy, right? Okay, guys, let's just talk about these two cards right here. We have the Master and Traveling. The Master in this Osho Zen deck is an extra card that they added at the end of the major arcana, right? So after the world completion, they added the Master, and the Master is a complete master of the major arcana, which translates to like being a complete master of the self, right? He's a complete master of the self. If you can see, he has like this moon halo. So this is like being a complete master of his moon, his emotional subconscious. This is also giving me like High Priestess energy. But High Priestess, she just goes, she retreats, she dissolves into the shadows, and she just collects collects data, right? She collects the data, and then maybe she might pass the data on to like the Hierophant or the King of Swords in this case, because we do have the King of Swords here. But the master, he collects the data, right? He not only collects the data, but he does the rewiring. I don't know if you guys can see. Try to get a close up of how like it looks like circuit breaker. I don't know, like the wires in a circuit breaker. He rewires his subconscious. Those wires are like the same color as like the chakra system. So he's a master of himself, his aura, his auric field, and his chakra system, right? He is a master of energetic spiritual hygiene. He has these sovereign boundaries. So, one of the duties, the tasks, the missions of an empath, right? So that we don't get caught up, overtaken, suppressed, and beat down by the conflicts and chaoses of the world, we have to learn spiritual hygiene and energetic boundaries, right? Once we master that, we have traveling here. This is the Eight of Wands in the tarot. So it's like quick momentum that propels you forward. So we have to master something in terms of our energy. And once this mastery is complete, then quick momentum propels us forward, right? We're moving, we're traveling. What else do we have here? We have the Eight of Cups, the Hierophant, and the Page of Swords. This is a message about walking away from maybe something that you've invested a lot. These cups are giving cycle, right? A cycle, an emotional cycle that keeps repeating itself. But this is Saturn in Pisces, so it's not a happy cycle. This cycle doesn't feel good. Saturn in Pisces dominates Pisces, right? Pisces is a very soft, creative, free-flowing, whimsical energy, right? Pisces is a very like loving, open, la 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 energy. But when Saturn is in Pisces, it's like someone or something is suppressing Pisces, overshadowing Pisces. So whatever this situation is that we're walking away from, it was a situation where our emotions, our joy, our love, our creativity, our happiness was restricted, right? Pisces as an archetype also has to learn boundaries, right? Because Pisces is very free and open and giving. Pisces is a Christ-filled sign of like sacrificial love. And I'm getting like the lamb here. Pisces, when a Pisces incarnates, right? They incarnate in dense environments that need Pisces love, right? These environments need love to heal and uplift them. So if Pisces doesn't learn boundaries, then Pisces gets pushed down, right? But Pisces isn't like a wimp. If you know any Pisces, you know that Pisces is also very headstrong, right? Very opinionated. I saw someone write on Facebook the other day that Pisces isn't gentle like a flower, it's gentle like a bomb, right? So be nice to Pisces or else. But this card talks about learning boundaries, learning when to say no, when to walk away, and evolving emotionally, right? And then we have the Hierophant. The Hierophant talks about spiritual instruction, rules, and orders, regulating processes and systems, putting things right, doing things the right way by the book. So it's like walking away from whatever suppressed you, the shark energy, whatever is trying to consume you, walking away from that, establishing sovereignty, right? Sovereign boundaries, sovereign order, and then showing up as yourself, right? We've got the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is earth and air, earth and air. So it's like grounding in spiritual wisdom. Grounding in spiritual wisdom. We had the King of Swords and then the Page of Swords. So this is like maybe the baby. The baby. Going back to that deer energy. Something that's very fragile. It's a version of self, right? It's like you discover your soul's truth, you discover your soul's purpose, or you make this choice to cut something out and move in your own direction. And you lead with that, right? You assert yourself, you speak up for yourself, you express yourself truthfully. Maybe that's that baby energy that spirit wants us to protect. We have been working on leading with this authentic version of self, right? Maybe spirit is wanting you to protect this authentic version of yourself so that it doesn't get suppressed. I feel like that's what's trying to happen. Something, someone forces, maybe it's just the game, right? The game is trying to suppress this, it's very gentle and delicate, right? It's new, like a new baby. Something is trying to suppress it. What else? We've got, okay, let's go here. These two cards are talking more about this process, right? We have Scorpio. Scorpio is the death card in the tarot, right? Scorpio is the death card, and it talks about the transformation of the shadow. So it's like there is a test. Maybe the shark energy is the test. It's a very intense test. Amplified intensity, amplified emotional intensity. A lot of darkness because the full moon was on Pluto, right? The full moon was conjunct Pluto. It's like a lot of emotional, it's like the subconscious stuff came up. That's the test. Came up so that we could transform the shadow, prove our fitness, right? Because we are transitioning. Before this transition, there's a test. This test was karmic. This test was karmic. It didn't feel good. I had a freaking headache. I'm telling you, it was like this buildup of negativity all the way up to my crown chakra. And like my head felt like it was just going to explode. So this test, and then it's so crazy because like after I went outside to offload some of the negativity, it's like headache went away. But this test, right? It's testing our fitness, right? Because we are moving into this new phase in between this life and the next. So we're moving into this new phase. But before we get there, there is this test. Maybe all of this karmic stuff is coming up so that we can transform it and come out with this clean cup, right? How deep are you willing to go to redeem and uplift yourself? The Scorpio card talks about psychology, looking deep within to solve an issue. No repressing, ignoring, or projecting your shadow or the energies that are stored within your 12th house, the house of the unconscious. We don't want to repress, ignore, or project these energies. We want to alchemize them, right? Deal with them, face them, and then make some sort of choice. A choice that's going to lead to justice, right? Fairness. Balance. And then we have the first house. The first house is Aries. Super appropriate because the moon is in Pisces right now. Pisces rules the 12th house. So it's like that shadow period before the light, right? We have the first house of Aries. I come forth. So it's like after we do this scorpionic work, right? Moving our emotions into a healthy current. After this work is complete, then we come into the first house. I come forth. This card says, here I am in the entryway, very apparent. The soul quality that presents itself first. So it's like this higher version of you, these two cards together, right? Let's do it this way. This higher, or maybe just this pure, fragile, new aspect of self, purified, cleansed, and renewed, it won, right? And now it emerges triumphant. There may be something occurring in a couple of days when the moon moves into the sign of Aries. Maybe we'll leave this inner sanctuary. Remember how I was talking about how the moon in Pisces is like asking us to retreat into our inner sanctuary to take care of this work. So when the moon moves into Aries, it's like we're going to be coming out of that inner sanctuary and presenting ourselves to, I don't know, the world. Okay, so back to some of the astrology. We have the moon in Pisces trine Mercury in Cancer. So the moon in Pisces is in communication with Mercury in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer is giving that, let me look for the Three of Cups. Something wants to be communicated with you. Your higher self wants to communicate something with you. Okay. So the Three of Cups is sandwiched in between the moon and the world. The world is Saturn. Okay. I'll just take these three. So, okay, we have the Three of Cups. Mercury in Cancer. But before we get to the Three of Cups, we have to move through this moon energy, which is what we've been talking about, right? The moon in Pisces. There's something in our... Maybe there's not something in our subconscious. Maybe this is just an invite to retreat. I'm getting like the Four of Swords, an intentional act against external conflict and chaos, right? Moving into like this meditative state, maybe not even like a meditative state, just like softening, right? Retreating into the moon to protect ourselves from whatever this shark energy is, right? Whatever this is, retreating is going to, like I said, line of demarcation, separate our energy from the energies of other people. And once we moved through this moon phase, right? Maybe there is some tension that we're feeling, some anxiety, some negativity. Just sit in the grass, guys. Just sit in the grass. Sit in the grass, put your palms in the grass, and push the negative energy out of your body through your palms into the earth. Then there's some sort of communication, emotional communication, maybe about a completion. We did have the Master and the Eight of Wands, right? But in terms of astrology, Remember how I said we have the moon in Pisces making a trine to Mercury in Cancer. Mercury in Cancer is making a square to Saturn in Aries. This is Saturn here. Saturn talks about success, right? Completion, successful initiation. You've passed the test, you've overcome adversity, and whatever this hard lesson is, now here's your earned victory, right? This World card talks about learning from experience and carrying new awareness into the next cycle. Okay, let's see if we can get more about this information. Which deck should I use? Okay. Okay, what information is Spirit wanting to communicate with the collective? What information is Spirit wanting to... We got shield, fear, and torch. Dead end. Okay. Shield talks about spiritual armor, right? It says you have nothing to fear. Angels are protecting you from anything less than love. You have nothing to fear. Angels are protecting you from anything less than love. So, going back to that deer and the shark energy, if this shark, whatever, whoever it may be, is invoking these feelings of fear within you, the message that Spirit is communicating with you is that fear is an illusion, right? Fear is a trick of the devil. Fear is a trick of the devil. You have nothing to fear. And then we have fear, right? This card talks about the movie After Earth, right? It says fear pheromones act as magnets that attract negative energies and unwanted outcomes into our reality. Yet, when we overcome worry and anxiety, we become utterly invisible to the energies and entities who identify their targets by fear. So this is a message about like relaxing. Maybe that's why Spirit wants us to soften. Don't panic. Present focus. Take baby steps, right? Soften. Be gentle, because these energies, these entities, they attach to you through fear. They identify their targets by the fear pheromones. So Spirit wants us to relax. Relaxing is going to serve as like this spiritual armor that shields, guards, and protects you from negative, evil, harmful, low vibrational energies, entities, and spirits, right? The last card that we have out is Torch, Illuminated Awareness. It says a torch represents the inner wisdom and practical knowledge that illuminates our path and guides our steps. While we may not always see the full extent of our journey, the torch instills in us the confidence to take the next step forward. So this is talking about how sometimes we have like this spiritual blindness, or we're in this spiritual fog where we can't see the next steps. I was just thinking about this earlier, like I can't see the next steps. I don't know what's up ahead for me. But this is talking about like just moving, baby steps, right? Managing what you have today in this moment, or managing with what you have in this moment and taking that to move forward, right? Baby steps. It's like each step is a deposit into our dharmic outcome, right? So taking these steps, there's something here about a dead end, a pointless pursuit. It says this situation is going nowhere. Continuing with the current course of action does not guarantee progress or improvement. It may be beneficial to cut your losses and explore a new direction. I feel like this is like continuing with like this fear energy, this worry, this stress, anxiety, this concern. It says redirect, abort mission, reevaluate, walk away. Could be walking away from this karmic soulmate, or walking away from anything that disturbs your rhythm, harmony, and balance. Because up next we have an affirmation card. It says rhythm, harmony, and balance are now established in my mind, body, and affairs. And then we have peace. Peace goes beyond the absence of noise or difficulties. True peace comes from learning to coexist with these things while maintaining inner balance. And right behind that, we have tornado, storm warning, and illness, dis-ease, hopelessness, discomfort, pessimism, shame, and pain. So again, you guys, this is a message about gracefulness, softness, gentleness, maybe even like some self-compassion, because tornado. A tornado is swarming around you. It's like that shark energy swarming around you. Shark energy, the tornado energy, is identifying its targets by fear pheromones. So we want to slip into inner harmony and peace, and then we become like invisible to the energies, entities, spirits that identify their targets by fear. Okay, I'm gonna get, what's going on with my headphones? I'm gonna get like a closing message. A closing message. We have stability at the body, stability at the bottom of the deck, stability in the body, earth, ground. This stability card is a number 9. Ground, as we prepare for karmic endings and dharmic beginnings. I don't know what's going on with my headphones. Spirit, give me a closing message for the collective. Closing message for the collective, please. Closing message. What do we need to know? Closing message. What do we need to know for the collective? Salvation and transformation. Savior. This is a really bright card. I don't know if you guys can see it. Savior. It's a number 24, which breaks down to a 6. 6 talks about establishing internal peace and harmony, right? In preparation for the fulfillment of a divine contract. So we are moving into some sort of divine contract, but in this moment, there is a need to maybe save ourselves. Not getting that. Not save ourselves. Raise the frequency. Elevate the frequency. Transformation and destiny. Transformation and destiny. Transformation is giving the 2 of Pentacles. We did have the 2 of Pentacles over here. The 2 of Pentacles is Jupiter in Capricorn, and it talks about the Wheel of Fortune, karmic change, right? Material change. Material change, going with the flow, trust. Not all change is easy, but trust that this change is for the greater good. And the affirmation is, I trust in the harmony and flow of my life. So I feel like reality is transforming, moving through the bardo, and you're moving into some sort of destiny. We have the South Node here as well. The South Node talks about releasing karma and ancestral baggage, but not before reclaiming what's yours. Not before reclaiming what's yours. Not before reclaiming what's yours. Okay, so there's a message coming through about how your energy, right? Your energy, your life force energy. Even if the life force energy is fear, right? It still belongs to you. It's your energy. There's a message about how your energy may be getting wrapped up, tied up in the South Node, right? The South Node is like that karmic energy, or not always, right? The South Node talks about like past life history, but I'm getting karmic energy because we have like a lot of karmic energy here on the table. So we don't want our life force energy, even if it is fear, worry, concern, anxiety, we need that, all of it, right? It belongs to us. We need it. So we want to pull that out of the South Node, whatever this karmic cycle is that keeps spinning, right? We want to pull our energy out of that and redirect it towards, I want to say, some sort of destiny. Let's see if we can get some advice. Let's use this deck. I haven't used this one in a while. Advice. for the collective. Communication number 2. Communication number 2. And then trust number 21. Okay, so communication is giving, what is that? Pisces. That's Pisces. Okay, communication is giving like Gemini energy. This isn't receiving communication from anyone else. It's the energy that we emit, right? The signal that we emit. Gemini, Mercury. Number 2 talks about stability and balance. Okay, so the message is just kind of repeating themselves. We want to make sure that our signal, right, our energetic communication is stable, calm, balanced, peaceful, and harmonious, right? I think I saw something about how like fear attracts unwanted outcomes. So in this energy, we want to make sure that our communication, the signal that we are emitting, is stable and balanced, right? We have something here about trust. Oh, and then Pisces, right? The communication coming from the house of the unconscious. So the communication coming from our unconscious, subconscious realm has to be stable and balanced in this energy, right? That's what the moon in Pisces is giving us an opportunity to do. We have trust, which is a card of Scorpio. We talked about how Scorpio is like the energy of transforming the shadow. Number 21 breaks down to a 3, transforming the shadow so that we can express ourselves, emotional communication, harmoniously. Harmonious emotional communication. But there's this retreat, untangling, dissolution, mastery that has to be done. We have an opportunity to do this while the moon is in Pisces, you guys. Because when the moon moves into Aries, I feel like there's going to be some sort of go time. Okay, you guys. I'm going to leave this reading here. We've got psychic healing at the bottom of the deck. At the bottom of this deck, psychic healing. The beloved. This is the Lover's card. Peaceful warrior. The beloved is giving like 11-11. More of that balance between internal and external, masculine and feminine principles. But I'm going to leave this reading here. I do hope that the messages that came through in this reading do help and support you on your journey. If so, you guys, please feel free to like the video and leave a comment, because your comments do let YouTube know that these videos are helpful and supportive. And in turn, that helps the channel grow, you guys. I'll be back here in another couple of days with another energetic astrological energy report. I'll be back here in another couple of days with another reading. In the meantime, you guys take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next one.